for Washington Wizards. For a 7 o'clock tip, the Magic sit at the 7 seed in the East. The ASUN basketball tournament tips off here in Jacksonville with JU taking on Bellarmine tomorrow at noon and UNF versus West Georgia at 7:30. It's 69 degrees at 6 o'clock time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
They do say sometimes the best moves are the ones you do not make. That applies to the Jaguars. They do not put a tag on anyone, and they've been tag friendly as of late. Certainly the last two regimes were. Not James Gladstone, not Tony Baselli. You know the names. We'll go over them. Devin Lloyd is going to get an incredible payday. Still think he has an opportunity to be a bust if he does not go to the right program. Travis Etienne as well, I think he's going to get paid. And I think you end up losing the top two premier free agents that the Jags do have. My money says Buster Brown does return. Again, we'll go over that. Ryan O'Halloran's going to join us here in about 35 minutes. We'll talk about that as well. Best moves are those that maybe you do not make, sure, when it comes to deciding what to do with a football team. For you in general, I don't know if that applies. We around here on Into the Night have a lot of respect for the ladies who have given up their kids on divorcee night to their ex-husbands. So if you're going out playing, you're doing some running and some ripping, we wish you the very best. Maybe husband number 3 and or 4 could end up being the one for you. All we can do is hope. We're here for you. If you want to share any stories, you absolutely can. We're very interactive with our listeners, and there's nothing I like better than hearing that it was love at first sight, particularly if it was in a smoky bar. And he walked in. Out of all of the gin joints around, you happen to walk into this place. So, best of luck if that's for you tonight. Men, we understand that the laws suck in Florida. If you're a man and you are going through a divorce, or if you're a man and you've gone through a divorce, I feel you, brother. I dealt with it. It's awful. Kids need their dads as well. Okay? Let's move right along. Let's get to the Jags. But I feel that way. I do. And remember, we give up too soon. That's why kids give up. Oh, the manager looked at me wrong. I want to quit. Oh, I'm not a starter. I want to transfer. It's us. Argument, let's divorce, not work it out, you know? I mean, that's just kind of the way things are today. But there's no one else to blame but people my age, okay? We really started it. I was reading this thing over the weekend about kids our age. When we were kids, how they let you out of the house. You didn't have to worry about anything back then. You know, you didn't have a lot of kidnaps. You didn't have a lot of folks missing. You didn't know anything about the sex trade or any of that type of stuff. You didn't have cell phones. You had no communication. You'd get up, you'd leave, you'd play all day. You'd know at around a reasonable time that you would have to return for dinner. And it's incredible. Of course, life is upside down now for so many. But I feel bad for today's kids who can't live the way that we did in that particular area or category. All right, enough of that. I'll get off my soapbox, but I hate it for the good men of Jacksonville who are screwed by a faulty government and laws that don't allow you to spend more time with your precious kids. Where are you going? If you had one opportunity here, if you had one at bat, if you had one shot at 17, if you had one lap around Daytona, okay, if you had one Chan Ho Park 84-mile-an-hour fastball over the heart of the plate, maybe a little bit middle in, and you got a corked up 31-ounce Easton, and you're just trying to jack one out. Where are you going? What move are you making? It feels like the most popular, without any question, for the last couple of weeks has been John Franklin Myers, right? He's a guy that would fill an enormous role because he's versatile. He could play outside for you as he has in Denver, certainly here in a 4-3 style defense. He would be absolutely a guy that you could place as a defensive tackle. And, at the age of 29, had a pass rush win rate of 12.7%, which is the most of any free agent defensive tackle. Now, granted, he got a lot of this success on the edge in that 3-4, but 14.5 sacks the last couple of years. And absolutely, he played under a tremendous defensive coordinator in Vance Joseph, a guy that I'm surprised is not a head coach. Let's just come right out and say it. He's that good. So is that where you would go? Would it be Javon Hargrave, who is going to be released really at any moment? It's just a matter of timing. Again, his pass rush win rate, 12.4. This is a guy that absolutely is a bona fide defensive tackle. 52 tackles this past year, a forced fumble, 3.5 sacks, generating pressure internally, which is what this football team needs more than anything. I try to be kind. I do. I really, really do. And I'm reading CBS today, and this wasn't Prisco. This was another author, okay? And he's got Jags needs. So, obviously, that's all I'm doing. I'm reading everything on the Jaguars, draft and, everything that's drafted free agency. Because free agency begins next week. We know on Monday, and heck, we're 51 days away from the NFL draft. This Thursday, do you realize we're only 7 Thursdays away from the draft? And I know right now the Jags don't have a selection. There's a possibility that could change if they trade up, albeit I'll be very, very surprised if that ends up being the case. But when you look at what CBS did, they listed the top 4 needs. All right. And this is another example of why, when it really comes to getting information about the Jacksonville Jaguars, you need to trust the local media. Okay. Here's an example. CBS needs for the Jaguars, 4 of them. I'll go in order. Running back at number 1. Slap me across the forehead with a freaking 2x4. Okay? A running back is their premier number 1 need? I mean, if that was the case, wouldn't they have put a tag on Travis Etienne? Number 2. Corner. Now, that's a 6-pack argument at a minimum. I'm seeing corners no matter where I go. As a matter of fact, it was ESPN today came out with a 2-round mock, and they did have, who was it? Was it Chris Johnson who ended up being, no. It was, let me see here. I got it written down somewhere. It is Arkansas's corner, Julian Neal, 6'2", 208, out of the Southeastern Conference. Jacksonville grabbing a corner, regardless of whether or not they bring back Buster Brown or not. That's going to have a lot to say about that cornerback position. The way I look at it is this. You pay Buster Brown, okay? You have Travis Hunter. You bring back Jordan Lewis, and you absolutely, even though he's the slot and prove that he's not good on the corner, Jarian Jones is still a corner that you can trust, or I guess I should say a slot, a nickel that you can trust. That's 4 really good corners to begin things with. And then you can draft one, absolutely, with 11 picks. And And, I would say this, even with their 3 third-round picks, 81, 88, and 100, I'm grabbing a corner in there. But it feels like a lot of these mock drafts have the Jaguars getting a corner at number 56. I totally disagree with it, but I'm not going to have a meltdown if that's where the Jaguars go, coming up with their first pick in the draft on that Friday in late April. So it's running back, it's cornerback, then it's linebacker. Right? And once again, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me here. The Jaguars play nickel coverage the majority of the time. The NFL plays nickel coverage the majority of the time, right? You're going to have Aloakon around for at least one more year. Are they going to restructure that contract, or at his age, are they looking at this like, let's get one more year out of Aloakon? We don't want to restructure. We don't want to have to really be on the hook for a large amount of dead money after he's gone, right? And, I don't know how much they worry about the now and the then. Certainly last year they had a dead money over $84 million. This year it's already over $40 million, and that's going to grow. But you have Aloakon for one more year. You lose Devin Lloyd, right? You got two guys who can fight for that job. Remember, a lot of people forget that last year at the Miller Electric Center, Devin Lloyd was in a big-time battle with Ventrell Miller for that starting job. He took it away. He did, but Miller had a nice camp. And you got Jack Kaiser, who they like. So you got two guys who can fight for that second linebacker position. When they go with 3 LBs, just re-sign Danny Gardeck. Just bring him back. And again, they'll address this absolutely in the draft. But do I agree with it being team need number 3? I just don't. No way. Number 4, defensive end. Okay. There you go. Now you're speaking my language. It's a good edge class. If they were to get an edge, I like it. If just off the top of my head, if I was to give you, I've given you my top 2. But if you go to Friday night's draft at 56, and then you look at 81, 88, and 100, without getting into names, this is what I do. Defensive tackle at 56. The best offensive lineman on the board at 81. At 88, an edge. And at 100, a corner. There you go. Those are my 4 positions. They are the biggest positions of need, in my opinion. Not running back at number 1. What an embarrassment. Make a phone call to someone in the local media. There's not a person alive who covers this football team who is going to look at someone and respond with the biggest need on this club is a running back. You can find running backs. Okay? You absolutely can. So that's a big miss there by CBS Sports. All right, we got a lot to do over the next 2 hours. I'm really fired up about tonight's program. I didn't even mention Trey Hendrickson. I want to begin with him next hour because all of a sudden, in my opinion, he pushes himself to the front of the line. If you were to get him at the age of 31, you could move Trayvon Walker inside. I just don't know how they can afford to do it. I think it's going to be pretty close to impossible in order for that to take place. You look at the odds of where these guys are going. Jacksonville is just a meaningless footnote when it comes to the pass rush end out of Cincinnati, who was hurt last year, only played 7 games. But you go back to the 2024 season, he had 17.5 sacks and 65 pressures. To me, he would be the top overall guy. If you could get anyone with a blank check, it would be Hendrickson 1 for me, and then John Franklin Myers at number 2. You know who's number 1 always for me? Schmunez Vision. They are. Because my eyes are important. They should be important to you. Again, I was playing golf over the weekend. Had my brother in from Tampa. Had my cousin flew in from Boston, Aaron Beasley, play with us as well. And, you have the golf range, the Ranger or the whatever the hell they call it, where you're able to pin it on the flag and get your accurate measurement as far as, where you are and what your club selection is going to be. But it was funny to hear, I won't mention the one who was way off, just how off he was. And I'm like, bro, you got to get your eyes taken care of, okay? I mean, why would you allow it? As good as you are at golf, as much golf as you play, why would you not have 20/20 eyesight, okay? And I think I got to him, and we'll see what he ends up doing. But nonetheless, if that applies to you, okay, if you're struggling to see, if you can notice a major difference fatigue-wise between night with your eyesight and when you get up in the morning, make an appointment today. Go to Shmunez Vision. You can check them out online. Just go to Shmunez Vision as well. You're talking about more than 37 years worth of experience when it comes to surgery. If that is the case with Dr. Neil Shmunez, Dr. Catherine Shmunez, and Dr. John Hunt. Also, see them online at Instagram, and you can grab all of the testimonials at Shmunez Vision. Ryan O'Halloran in 20 minutes. You the entire night through. Your questions on YouTube, your questions on our text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010. You can also get me on Twitter, Ballou, Ballou 1010XL.
The game's best golfers and one of the most beautiful courses in the world. Catch live Southeast Orthopedic Specialist leaderboard updates from the players, capped by Corona, Campione Law, and TopDressing.com on 1010XL.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Spring is almost here. Is your yard ready? Lucas Tree Service, a family-owned business with over 45 years of experience, is your local certified arborist for tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for residential or commercial properties. Protect your home, boost your curb appeal, and get top-notch service from a Jacksonville company. Make sure your trees are healthy and safe before summer hits. Schedule your tree inspection today at lucastreeservice.com.
If you missed it, get it on demand.
And you send those out on the line.
Find your 1010XL favorites where you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com. Channel 5, Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
If you never saw Zeppelin live, now you can know what it's like. And if you did, relive the magic of Led Zeppelin live.
Hey, Mama said the way you move.
Get the Let Out is back at Florida Theater March 8th. Get the Let Out. Find out what it felt like to see Zeppelin live. Get tickets now at floridatheater.com.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Jacksonville, Lacey here from Fourscore. It's game time. The TPC is taking over the town and we're bringing the heat. Closest to the Pin Simulator battles, drink specials, huge screens, great food, and a full bar. Hosting clients or entertaining your team, let Fourscore handle your TPC party. Private bays, full service catering, and then straight into March Madness. We'll have bracket contests, buzzer beaters, cold beer, and the ultimate watch party vibe. San Marco or Gate Parkway, Fourscore is your headquarters. Visit fourscoregolf.com today.
Jacksonville, it's official. Men's professional soccer is back with the USL Championship. Your Sporting Jacks Pro Soccer Club kicks off its historic first men's season on March 7th, bringing fast, physical, world-class soccer back to the First Coast. This is more than a new pro sports team. It's world-class soccer played on a national and international stage. Be there from the very beginning. Season tickets with seats starting at just $10 per match. On sale now at sportingjacks.com. Sporting Jacks. Pro Soccer, Pro Jacks.
Freight Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi, this is Dale Murray with Murray Automotive Group in Stark and Kingsland. Save yourself from those big city dealers and their fast-talking mumbo-jumbo. No matter what your automotive need is, we've got you covered. Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and nobody beats our prices. I mean nobody. Shazam! Plus our exclusive 15-year, 150,000-mile warranty included on every qualified vehicle. And we'll trade anything from high heels to wagon wheels. Compare our prices online at ShazamAuto.com. Then come see me, Dale Murray. I'll be waiting for you. Shazam!
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Baseball Classic tomorrow, 20 countries. Should be a whole heck of a lot of fun. Not a huge fan of this. Then again, I wasn't a big fan of the Olympic Games, hockey-related, and it ended up going down as one of the great runs, and it'll end up being one of the great memories, hockey-related, in our lifetime. So maybe the World Baseball Classic, and I don't worry so much about position players. I just worry about arms. Okay, but that begins tomorrow. Tonight, you got Mississippi State at number 5, Florida. 21.5 points are the Gators, and tomorrow the A-Sun tournament underway. Both JU and UNF are in action on Wednesday. I'll give you those times and set that up for you in just a little bit. Tonight's program is brought to you by the Alexander Law Practice. I'm going to tell you about them as well in just a minute. This is, I've gotten some really good feedback from you early on here, social media-wise. And, you know, typically in our second hour, I absolutely get to you with question after question after question. I just looked at this one as I came out of the break, and what the heck did I? Here it is right here. I think it's a really good question, and you would think that things like this may have occurred, or the attempt for it to actually take place has absolutely happened for years in the NFL. Here it is. The 2633 says, Rick, honest question. Could Trevor just cut Travis Etienne a check on the side to stay? No. No, no, no. That has been collectively bargained by the league and by the players. You cannot cut a check. And personally, it would be a large fine. I don't know what it is because I'm not aware of anything like this ever taking place. Now, there's ways around it where you can do some things. Like we always hear about how a guy wants a number and he'll pay someone $50,000. He'll pay someone $250,000. I mean, so there are times where things like that can apply. But as far as let's say Travis Etienne wants $12 million a year, and Jacksonville was willing to pay him $10 million a year. This guy's saying, can Trevor Lawrence write him a check for $2 million a year? No way, no way. Side deals are prohibited by the NFL. Again, they're going to cite salary cap integrity, which every team must be under now. $301,200,000, right? 301.2 is the official number this year. Independent endorsements, are separate. You can be paid from a third party an unlimited amount of money, and I think it would be rare. Again, I'm not aware of a situation where so many of these players are in business, right? Good businesses, bad businesses. A lot of guys end up regretting it. I mean, that has been historically around here. There's been some major misses business-wise, going back to, this franchise's infancy. But I've never been aware of someone owning a company and then bringing in a player who is a teammate or someone else in the league and paying him a large amount of money. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm just not aware of anything like that actually happening. But that's a real good question. And I appreciate you getting in with that. All right, Trey Hendrickson's 31. Where's the risk reward here? It's going to cost a ton to get him. Just look at the amount of money that's been spent on this position lately. And 31 is not 26. It's not 27. Okay, I look at John Franklin Myers. He's only 29. 31 years of age, coming off an injury, right? Only played 7 of the 17 games one season ago with the Cincinnati Bengals. Still, this is a guy with 81 career sacks. This is a guy, when healthy in 2024, had 17 and a half sacks, 65 pressures. You go to ESPN, the number 1 ranked free agent is Trey Hendrickson, okay? He is going to get paid a massive wage. I don't think there's a shot at all. I don't even think it's, under the bizarre set of circumstances, no matter how you put it together, that something like this could literally take place for the Jaguars. He has outpriced this football team, just like Devin Lloyd outpriced this football team. They cannot afford him. Now, I'll tell you what you don't want to have happen is for him to go to Indianapolis, right? There's some talk that maybe that's where, in fact, he does end up. Indy today actually put the transition tag on Daniel Jones. It's the first ever transition tag I read for a quarterback. I think there's been 20 transition tags since the year 2000. Of course, there's been a ton of franchise tags. But the transition tag for Daniel Jones, $37,833,000. They're still going to get a deal done. That's the hope with Chris Ballard, the general manager of Indy. But it's $6 million less than what the franchise tag would have been. So if you're Daniel Jones, your career has taken off again. Unfortunately, you were injured, and you're battling through your rehabilitation on a, torn Achilles, but the franchise says, yeah, we want you. We're going to sign you. We want to put together a deal, but we're going to give you $6 million less than you probably figured you were going to make. So even though he's making $38 million, I imagine Daniel Jones has mixed emotions today. People just do not like being tagged. We know George Pickens was tagged in Dallas. We know Kyle Pitts was tagged in Atlanta. Today, Breece Hall was tagged. Now, this was a non-exclusive franchise tag that'll pay Breece Hall $14.29 million, okay? And what a non-exclusive franchise tag deal is, other teams can sign them. They can sign him to an offer sheet. I mean, Jacksonville or any other team could go up to Breece Hall right now and give him a 4-year, $60 million deal if they wanted to. New York has an opportunity to match it. And why no one's going to do this is, here's the compensation. If a team went and got Breece Hall, not only would you have to sign him to a major contract, but you would lose 2 future first-round picks. That would actually benefit the Jets if they lost Breece Hall, because, again, I believe you can find running backs all over the place. To add 2 first-round picks, one next year, one the year after, would end up being huge. It may even apply in this year's draft. You could get it as early as 26, right? I mean, the draft is only 51 days away. So, yeah, if it happened before the draft, no doubt. And again, free agency does officially begin coming up on Monday. That'll be the legal tampering period. Okay, if you want to dive in on anything that is free agency related, anything the Jags that you believe they should do. Your thoughts today on not putting a tag on ETN. Okay, I think that most of us believe that was not going to happen. There may have been a glimmer of hope for some. So if so, we'd love to hear from you. But Devin Lloyd, it was, there was no question. Forever around here, everyone has been saying you just can't afford to pay the guy. And frankly, based on one really good year, he's not worth the price tag that he's going to get. I'm happy for him because he's a good guy. But he isn't. He hasn't done enough work in his career to get 20, whatever it's going to end up being. It would have been around $28 million if we put a franchise tag on Devin Lloyd. All right, Alexander Law Practice. I hope you don't have to use these great folks simply because I don't want to see you get injured, right? But if it's happened to you and you are in a car wreck and right now you're up against it, you don't know where to go, who to turn to. All right, let me start off by saying this. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and contact the Alexander Law Practice. For starters, 0 retainer fee, okay? You're never going to come out of pocket. Don't worry about, you're going to be charged for the call, you're going to be charged for the consultation. Wrong. You're going to be charged for nothing, okay? That's the way it is. You'll never come out of pocket. Then you'll tell Rick Alexander, who's been doing this for well over 30 years, exactly what happened to you. In most cases, it's not your fault. It's careless driving by someone else, but you may be dealing with a car that you can't afford to get fixed. You may be physically or mentally beaten up because of the car accident. These are the type of questions you ask, and then they'll put together a personable package for you that I think you'll be very excited about and hopefully be very prosperous when it's all said and done. Here's what you got a song on. Take a look at the website. It's incredible. Contact them there. You can also place a call, 400-6600. You get an immediate call back. Rick Alexander's old school. He is involved with every single one of his clients. He's old school, and that's the way he rolls. Go to Alexander Law Practice. Coming up, let's do our weekly conversation with Ryan O'Halloran, columnist from the Florida Times-Union. He was at the Combine in Indy last week. Let's get into it. The good that he saw, also his thoughts on the Jaguars and what he believes will happen Monday during the legal tampering period.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Divorce, menonly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to divorcemenonly.com. Divorcemenonly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
David Garrard here, and once again, I'm reporting good news about how good my knees are doing following PRP treatment at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. For an old quarterback like me, my knees are in great shape.
You don't have to be a celebrity or a professional athlete to appreciate the everyday personal attention you'll receive at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. For any orthopedic need, call on the pros at SOS.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
When your home or business deserves more than ordinary glass, you trust the experts. Capital Glass and Shower Doors has been elevating spaces for over 40 years with precision, craftsmanship, and clean, modern design. From sleek frameless shower enclosures to elegant glass railings, wine cabinets, and any custom glass that makes a statement, Capital Glass delivers unmatched quality, service, and attention to detail. Your vision, their expertise. Capital Glass and Shower Doors at capcoglass.com.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $5,000 per ounce, and silver is over $100 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold and silver for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
approach.
All right, Jackson, let's talk about it. Spring cleaning feels great until your drains remind you what they've been holding on to all winter. If your sink's burping, your shower's backing up, or your toilet's hesitating like it's reading a blitz, it's time to call in the pros. Call Duck Duck Rooter. During their spring drain cleaning promotion, get your drains cleaned plus a free camera inspection for just $129. Must have outside clean out, honest pricing, proven experience, no fourth quarter surprises. When you're stuck, call the Duck. That's 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Indoor golf in Ponte Vedra is here. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Play the best courses in the world at Back Nine Golf. Top simulators, analytics to improve your game, or just have a blast with friends or a client. Get this, you can bring your own beverages, including cocktails. Go to back9golf.com, book a tee time today. Membership opportunities, lessons, Back Nine Golf in Ponte Vedra, next to Nice High School. Back Nine Golf, where golf never sleeps.
Pickett here. Restore comfort and confidence with oculoplastic specialist Mary Kate Wilson, MD, at the Eye Associates, Jacksonville's expert in oculofacial plastic and reconstructive care. Dr. Wilson specializes in eyelid surgery, cosmetic and reconstructive procedures, and treatments, always with a personalized approach. Now seeing patients at the beaches, Southside, and St. John's locations. To schedule your consultation with Dr. Wilson, call the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet A. Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
And Ryan O'Halloran is our guest each and every Tuesday night. He is back from Indianapolis. Of course, he is the columnist at the Florida Times-Union. Ryan, how are you?
I'm good, Rick. Good to join you again tonight.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on. All right, the Jaguars, as expected, do not make a move. I think we all understood that there was really no opportunity for Lloyd to continue here. He's outpriced the market. Maybe a little bit with ETN, with the way that the running back situation has gone so far during the offseason. Just your thoughts on what the Jaguars elected not to do.
Yeah, and you don't want to ever say, well, you're not surprised, but this one was a no-brainer. That linebacker tag, because it includes edge rushers, $26.8 million. That was a non-starter. And the running back was also pricey at $14.3. I agree with you on Lloyd. He's outpriced himself out of the Jaguars' plans by having a great year. That's the price of success. ETN, running back is such a strange position in free agency. I think the Jaguars would be smart to keep that door open. Keep a dialogue keep a dialogue going. And you never know when a guy's market just doesn't develop how he thinks it will, and he comes back to his team for a shorter-term deal. Still be a little bit of a surprise if Travis re-signs here, but I think it's a remote possibility.
Yeah, you see what Love did out of Notre Dame, and I know the Kansas City's been linked to both ETN and him. Of course, free agency is first. The draft is still 51 days away. Be interested to see what they do there, because I know other teams are interested, and I've even seen within the division, although obviously Houston made a big deal yesterday to get David Montgomery. Does it feel like Kansas City could end up being the place for ETN?
I think so. And if you're the Chiefs, you look at it, the first way you look at it is they need a running back. The second is, okay, would you rather have a veteran who knows what he's doing, who wouldn't require an NFL transition, or do you spend a top 10 pick? My lean, if I'm the Chiefs, would be ETN. That gives you a ton of more options with that top 10 pick, either pass rusher. They also need a receiver. So that would be a easy connecting to the dots, because the Chiefs, it sounds like they were in on Breece Hall from the Jets at the deadline, couldn't make it happen. So I think if I'm ETN, that would be very attractive to play with Mahomes.
Real quick, in the division, what do you make of the Daniel Jones? We don't see a lot of transition tags, historically speaking. I believe this is the first one ever for a quarterback. They want to get a long-term deal done, but they're certainly investing in their future at quarterback with Jones.
Yeah, and you don't want to say a team had no choice, but the Colts had no choice. They had nothing else on their roster. They're moving on from Richardson. Riley Leonard's probably going to be a journeyman backup. So with the transition tag, what that allows them to do is bring that average value down if they do get a long-term deal. So it'll save them some money that way that maybe they can allocate toward Alec Pierce. But I mean, if you're the Colts right now, if you're a Colts fan, you can't be encouraged. You collapse down the stretch. Now your quarterback is coming off a torn Achilles, which look at history recently of quarterbacks. It takes that first season, Rodgers, Cousins is really rocky. So this is going to have to be a big Jonathan Taylor year for the Colts again.
Ryan O'Halloran, our guest. He is the columnist with the Florida Times Union. Of course, the tags were in today at 4:00. 4 overall have been tagged. 3 franchise, 1 transition. Actually, with Breece Hall, it's non-exclusive, which could lead to a couple of first-round picks if someone signs him to an offer sheet. Monday will be the legal tampering period. All right. Here's the way I look at the free agents. I want to get your response to it. I'm bringing back Buster Brown. Then I want to bring back Dennis Gardeck. I'd like to bring back Quentin Morris, Austin Johnson. I don't think that's part of the first wave. I think they're very affordable. If they can get younger and better, I get it. If not, I think those guys kind of fit into the landscape of this football team. What do you see them doing with their own free agents next week?
Yeah, I think the key one is Buster Brown, because if he does hit that negotiating period, and let's face it, Rick, his camp has an idea what's going to be out there after going to the combine, where they wink, have meetings. And I think he's a must re-sign for the Jaguars, because starting caliber corners are easier to keep than find. And that would allow you to have Travis Hunter as your, opposite him, Jordan Lewis as your nickel, Jerry Jones as your fourth guy. I like that quartet going into the season, and that means they're not painted into a corner in the draft. As for Morris and Johnson, I could see them signing one-year deals this week with a low guarantee. It doesn't change their plans if somebody falls to them in the draft. And then also with Gardeck, I think he's an important re-signing, because even if you do draft a person of his ilk at linebacker who can also rush the passer, he provides a lot of special teams value. He can be a situational guy. So I'm with you on those, but I think Brown tops that list in terms of there's urgency to get something done over the next 6 days.
All right, let's get to defensive tackle, because in my opinion, it is the biggest, as far as the importance of what this football team needs to add. John Franklin Myers is really going to get overpaid here. Javon Hargrave, once he becomes available, I think is going to get overpaid here. Do you see a scenario at all where they could make a run at either one of those two players?
Not Franklin Myers, because he's going to get probably 160 cents on the dollar from somebody with a lot of cap space, which the Jaguars don't have. Hargrave is interesting because he has 150 games on his odometer. Maybe teams who are rebuilding aren't going to be in that because by the time they're ready, he'll be out. So I'd keep an eye on Hargrave. The other player I'd keep an eye on is Ashawn Robinson from Carolina. Not a big sack guy, but still pretty productive at this stage of his career. And he played for the Rams when James Gladstone was in the front office there. And I say, we talk about Max Crosby a lot, but I think a big swing would be for Zach Seiler, the Miami defensive tackle. The Dolphins are clearly starting over, which they should have done a couple years ago. He has 20 and a half sacks over the last 3 years, only 5.5 this past year. But I think he could be a fit as well for the Jaguars, and it probably wouldn't cost them a lot.
All right, let's wrap with, defensive tackles. You just got back from the combine in Indianapolis. We've been told that this is a very weak defensive tackle class, maybe only 2 first-rounders. What were your thoughts? Was it better than expected? I know they're not hitting or doing anything on those lines, so it's somewhat unfair. But what did you get out of the defensive tackle class coming into this year's draft?
I think if you have a first-round pick, it's probably not a direction you're going to want to go. But from picks, let's say 35 to 70, I think there's some options there. And one thing that you saw when these guys met with the media, there was some big boys. I mean, 6'4", 6'5 plus, 320, that kind. Caleb Banks, 6'5", 330 from Florida. Chris McClellan from Missouri. He's somebody who's on my radar. He's a former UF player. He had 5 sacks last year in the SEC as an interior pass rusher. That's pretty good and led his team. So Rayshawn Benny from Michigan is another guy. So I do think there's going to be some value there late second and throughout the third round for the Jaguars. And even if they do acquire a veteran, I think they still need to prioritize that with one of those first 4 picks on night 2.
I believe Caleb Banks because he was such a freak, the way that he measured, then the way that he tested. I think he's moved out of the second round. It may fall, late in the first, if not early in the second. Peter Woods out of Clemson, Katie McDonald, Ohio State. I don't think they'll have a shot at those 3. Let me ask you about a couple of guys, though. I've seen Texas Tech's Lee Hunter listed a lot falling to Jacksonville. Maybe not at 56, maybe as far as 81. I'd take him at 56 because it's a position of need. Did you get anything out of Lee Hunter while you were in Indy?
Yeah, I like him. And because if you can just rush the passer a little bit, he had 7.5 sacks in his career. He played at 3 colleges, including UCF. But what I liked about him is he had 29 tackles for lost yardage. So he's not just a space eater. He probably has some ability to get up the field. I think he'd be an instant contributor. What is 6'3", 6'4", 330. So he can be, depending on the play, he can absorb a double team, let the linebackers float a ball carry. But yeah, I like him. And then, then you get into the, Dominique Orange. He's injured from Iowa State, that is 6'4", 325. Maybe he's worth a flyer late in the third if teams just really say, hey, we are not going to use a third-round pick on somebody who's coming back from injury. Well, the Jags got 3 of them, so that may open up their options a little bit.
Yeah, I like it. Darrell Jackson's been mentioned a little bit out of Florida State. Christian Miller out of Georgia. Some guys here locally that fans are interested in. Did either one of those 2 do anything to impress you last week?
I mean, Jackson from Florida State, as I called him, the lone Knoll. He looked. He did some good things in the workout, and it seems like he's generating a lot of interest. But one thing about this position, Rick, and you've seen it too in these drafts, is you get a run on like receivers and corners and safeties maybe early in the second, and some of these big guys fall down. And so they may, let's say one of these guys they really like, the Jaguars, are at 47. I'll trade up 9 spots.
Mm-hmm.
Use one of those third-round picks if you feel it's a guy that isn't going to be there at 56, and maybe there's going to be a run on defensive tackles, because it really is a horses for courses position, and you may only like 7 receivers, but you only may like 3 defensive tackles. So that creates the urgency to move up if you only have like 1 or 2 of those guys left.
Yeah. Hey, leave us with QBs. I mean, Anthony Richardson is looking for a new home, but when you look at the higher price guys, Cousins, Tua. There was a report today that Kyler Murray's out. Are they just going to release these players, or do you think there's a willing trade partner down the road?
We'll start with Richardson. I mean, you look at, Minnesota, maybe you give up a 7th. I mean, you're not going to get anything for him. You just have to be willing to absorb the contract if you're the team trading for him. Murray feels like that's just a straight cut. Tua, straight release. Cousins, same thing. You look at Pittsburgh. If Rodgers doesn't come back, then to me that looks like a Cousins landing spot, and maybe pair him with Richardson and a developmental guy. Minnesota, they got to bring in competition for McCarthy. Arizona, that they run it back with Jacoby Brissett. Miami, do they pay $30 million for Malik Willis? I wrote this last week, and we probably have talked about it, Rick. It's a good year to not have a quarterback problem.
Yeah.
There just isn't the value there. And, somebody's going to draft Ty Simpson in the first round, which is fine, but you can't expect him to be a guy right away.
Yeah. I keep seeing Cleveland, and, they got so much money invested in Watson still. And then with Sanders, but who knows? I mean, Cleveland always seems to do things that leave us scratching our heads. Ryan, always a lot of fun. Thank you.
All right, Rick. Talk to you next week.
There he goes. Ryan O'Halloran. He is the columnist with the Florida Times-Union. It's amazing how quickly you give up on quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson, I know it's been just awful. And every player's separate, okay? You can't look at one player and compare it to someone else. But if you look at his body of work, he's unproven. He's basically untested. This isn't like Sam Darnold, who failed, saw ghosts, became a reclamation project. Now he's a Super Bowl winner. Baker Mayfield. We all remember Cleveland. He was in Carolina. He was in Los Angeles, for crying out loud, with the Rams. Okay? Baker turned the ball over late in the year and in the playoffs, but certainly he's turned it around. Daniel Jones. If I had said to you 2 years ago that Daniel Jones is guaranteed to make $38 million guaranteed this year, you wouldn't have believed me. And, it goes on and on and on. Geno Smith, is he going to be let go? Who's going to take a chance here at Kyler Murray? Tua is going to be let go. Kirk Cousins at the age of 37. I've seen him linked with Minnesota. There could be other possible trades as well with quarterbacks. And again, it does not appear to be a good quarterback class. Fernando Mendoza is going to go number 1. We know that. Ty Simpson, you kind of believe, I always have, that he'll go sooner than projected because the team is going to feel like we need a QB. And they're going to reach a little bit, right? Blake Bortles got criticized during his playing time, during his days here, because he was a first-round pick. Well, he wasn't only a first-round pick. He was the 3rd pick in the draft. He was overdrafted. He was. He shouldn't have been the 3rd player in the draft, okay? And, he's a legend now. Everyone loves the boat. He certainly had tremendous, his effort was second to none. Although some may question that during the offseason. I'm talking about on game day. But I thought he was overdrafted, okay? The exact same thing's going to happen, I got to believe, with Ty Simpson coming up this year. All right, let's get you involved with the program. Let's do that. Couple of ways you can join us. 641-1010, text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. You can also join us on YouTube tonight. Just go to 1010XL into the night. Ryan O'Halloran gave us a lot to chew on. Are you with me when it comes to a defensive tackle? Can they get a veteran out there? And it's not too early to get into Monday and the legal tampering period. I gave you my 2 that need to come back, and there's a big separation between 1 and 2. Buster Brown, clearly number 1. Number 2 for me is Danny Gardeck. And again, some of the others like Austin Johnson and Quentin Morris, I'd like to see this team bring them back if they're going to be reasonably priced. They're not going to knock you out as far as what it's going to cost. And I think they fit into the landscape of this football team. So if you want to jump in on that, you can as well. We're with you tonight till 8 o'clock.
1010XL is your home for Jacksonville University basketball.
The ASUN tournament tips off at UNF Arena tomorrow at noon. It's a 9-8 seed matchup. JU and Bellarmine on 1010 AM.
Like many football fans in Jacksonville, I love defense. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett, and I'm here to tell you that defense in the courtroom is important as well. That's because penalties for DUI are much more serious than penalties on the gridiron. If you or someone you know is facing a DUI, call us for a free case analysis now. Know before you blow 858-9818. Put my more than 20 years of experience to work for you. Office is Jacksonville, serving all surrounding counties. Call 858-9818 or go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit HollisPools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
XL Prime Time is back where they belong.
Wait a minute, I know where that is.
Lunch is on Joe C., Matt Hayes, and Leon.
You could lay a little barbecue on us?
From the big #1 Duval Ford Studios.
But somebody else is going to have to cook it.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. I'm celebrating a little anniversary this week. 2 years ago, I hit my goal weight with a Waco 180. 40 pounds gone. And now I know it's not 100 plus like Hacker, but 40 was my number. That was the weight holding me back, slowing me down. And the best part? Free maintenance for life. That's the difference. I didn't do it with meds, didn't do it with side effects, didn't rely on a shortcut that I had to stay on forever. I did it with a plan, awesome coaching, and learning how to eat in a way that actually works in real life. Awaken 180 knows you travel, knows you eat out, knows you have cravings. A real-life plan for real-life people. Maybe your number's 25 pounds. Maybe it's 40 like mine. Maybe it's over 100 like Hacker. Whatever your number is, we're proof you can reach it and keep it off without putting something in your body you don't want there. Awaken 180 works. Get your number at awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Homeowners, ready to open your home to spring and shut out high energy bills? It's 31 days of spring savings with Renewal by Andersen. Right now, buy 2 windows or doors and get the third 60% off. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. But this offer expires March 31st. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Northeast Florida's highest-rated residential home electrical contractor is American Electrical, providing unsurpassed quality in Duval, St. Johns, Clay, and Nassau counties. No matter your electrical problem or project, large or small, American Electrical will get it done at a price that's right. High-quality electrician, that's who they are. Trust a company that's been on the First Coast for decades, proudly serving the community while being a big part of the community. Call American Electrical for all your electric needs at 737-7770. Wired right at a fair price.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hoops winding down. Before you know it, conference tournament time. As a matter of fact, in the ASUN, a couple of battles tomorrow that'll involve both JU and UNF. So I think it was the Horizon that has already kicked off, but more tournaments getting underway tonight, then more tomorrow. As far as the big wigs, basically a game this week and then this weekend. And that includes Florida tonight. They are massive. I mean, this looks like a football line, 21.5 points. Florida is favored over Mississippi State. That is coming up on the AM. Tip time will probably be around 7:42, 7:44, somewhere along those times. You a big hoop guy too? I know you're a Gator. That's a shock. Are you a hoop Gator guy?
Yeah, I'm actually a Husky when it comes to college basketball because I'm all
UConn?
of
UConn Husky?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. My I'm
Love it.
born in Hartford. All my mom's family's up there. All my family's up there, and I have 2 cousins that are in that go to UConn. So.
Yeah. One of my best buds went to UConn. I spent time in the jungle way back when, which is a certain part of campus that they actually call. It used to be crazy back in the day. I don't know what's going on now. Really? So you're a UConn hooper, but a Gator football.
Yeah, and that's because of when I was younger, I forgot who it was. I mean, I know when I was in middle school, it was Chris Leak. I loved Chris Leak. And then when Tebow came, I instantly fell in love with him. So I've been a big Gator football guy. I mean, but I don't root against the Florida Gators unless they're playing against UConn, of course. But, you know.
As long as UConn doesn't come down here to play Florida State, because the Noles will have trouble.
I want to try to get some tickets to go.
With Connecticut, I don't think there's any doubt about. Boy, Chris Leak, it's tough for me to really think of a guy who was disrespected more by Florida Gator fans than Chris Leak. He's still, I want to say, the all-time leading passer at Florida. And I understand that Tebow was next, that Tebow was waiting his turn, and, he did play as a freshman. But that surprises me. There are quarterbacks at Florida who are still just revered, that are, loved and adored, who were not as good, not nearly as good as Chris Leak. And, that's disappointing. And that happens. I mean, look at T. Martin. Look at T. Martin at Tennessee. He won a national championship. Are there streets and statues and buildings and all that now, the way it is with Peyton Manning? Peyton Manning is the greatest thing of all time, right? Couldn't beat freaking Florida. T. Martin beat Florida. Never forget 1996, man. First time in Neyland Stadium. Gators Vols. Before I sat down, it was 28-0 Florida. You could not build the exit signs large enough for those Vol fans to waddle the hell out of Neyland Stadium. They did come back in the game, but obviously Florida still won it. I think it was 35-28 was the final. All right, hour number 2. It's all about you and your calls, or make it your texts. 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also on YouTube, you can join us. Just go to YouTube 1010XL.
Jaguars football lives here.
Listen, we sticking together.
1010XL.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Termite swarms are active right now in Jacksonville, and once they get inside, damage can happen fast. Termites don't knock, they silently attack the structure of your home, leaving behind costly repairs and long-term headaches. Protect what you've worked hard for with the proven protection homeowners trust. Terminix Safe, with advanced termite treatment and prevention solutions. Visit Terminix.com and schedule your free termite inspection today.
Tired of changing out bad sod year after year? Get it done right with Roundtree Sod. Big or small, they have it, and always supplied farm fresh. For a lush, legendary green lawn, call 7414-SOD for a free estimate. 7414-SOD.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
The road to March runs through Jacksonville. The 2026 Atlantic Sun Conference men's and women's basketball tournament is coming to VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Catch all 24 Division I basketball programs in action March 3rd through 9th. Reserve your seat today at asunsports.org/tickets. Jacksonville is the destination for ASUN basketball. Get your tickets to the 2026 Atlantic Sun Conference men's and women's basketball tournament today. asunsports.org/tickets.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
Gold is now around $5,000 an ounce, and silver at an all-time high. If you need cash to help pay bills, then you've got to go to the Estates Roadshow. Gold and silver, old rings, chains, even broken jewelry. Don't wait. Cash in while gold and silver are hot. Go to the Estates Roadshow Monday through Friday in 2 great locations, St. Augustine and Palm Coast. Bring your gold, silver, coins, diamonds, and watches, even broken pieces, and get cash on the spot. The prices of gold and silver are at an all-time high, so there's never been a better time to sell. No appointments, no fees, no pressure, just friendly professional buyers with over 35 years in the business. Go to the Estates Roadshow Monday through Friday in St. Augustine at World Golf Renaissance, just off I-95 and International Golf Parkway, and in Palm Coast at the Holiday Inn Express, just off 95 and Palm Coast Parkway. Get some cash in your hands today to help pay those bills at the Estates Roadshow. For more info, visit estatesroadshow.com and follow Estates Roadshow on Facebook for all upcoming events.
Hi, I'm Carla Montgomery with the Child Cancer Fund. Thanks to the players, we're supporting families through childhood cancer with practical, emotional, and educational resources. 7 days until the players.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
One of my favorite times of year. Absolutely love March. And I love everything in and around free agency. It's certainly the NFL draft, and we're so deep in it now after the combine. And, next up is pro days and visits. Jacksonville, very secretive when it comes to visits. And again, I don't know if any one of their drafted players a year ago actually flew into Duval for a visit. And, it's the way that they are doing things. And right now you can't argue. I mean, you go 13-4, you can't argue. And you look at their draft class and what they got out of it, considering all the injuries, and what I believe they're going to get out of it this year, including, I think, their first 4 picks are going to end up being starters when it's all said and done. USA Today actually had Jacksonville making a trade. It said a day 2 pick. It didn't specifically say second rounder, number 56, or one of their 3 third-rounders, which is 81, 89, or 100. But it had them dealing with Philadelphia and bringing over Jordan Davis. Here's the problem, though. He's in the final year of his contract. He's going to make $13 million, officially $12.93. When stuff like this happens during the final year of his deal, he is going to want a brand new contract. You can sign a guy like Jordan Davis or anyone else for a ton of money and have it not really hurt you this year because of the signing bonus. But what about future years? And, that is something that we don't know yet what the philosophy is going to be with James Gladstone when it comes to aging veterans or veterans who no longer fit into the team's plans, right? And we saw that a year ago at this time with Sheriff and with Engram and with Kirk. Those 3 right there was more than $42 million in dead money. And dead money's huge. It's unavoidable, and it fits under the $301 million salary cap figure. I mean, this year already the Jags, $43,863,000, and they're going to add to that, right? I mean, Tyson Campbell, $19,520,000. Frightening. Gabe Davis, 14.6. Wow. And then you go Darnell Savage, 6.2. So those are the 3 big ones. But more are going to come. There's no question about that. Okay, so I thought that was really interesting. Here's another one that just floored me today. Okay? Odds for Mike Evans. Now, this comes from an entity that is not Hard Rock, so I'm not going to mention it because I've been told not to. Odds to get free agent wide receiver Mike Evans. Buffalo, 3-1 odds. Okay. Jacksonville, 4-1 odds. My jaw dropped. And I get the Liam Cohen relationship, but Jacksonville does not need a wide receiver. And in this case, you're talking about an aging future Hall of Fame wide receiver who is so productive in the red zone, and he's coming off a major injury. But it just doesn't make sense if you really study what the Jaguars are going to do. I don't think it would have any influence at all on Parker Washington, who's coming up on the final year of his deal, and they got to get it done with Parker Washington. But if you were to add another wide receiver and get a guy like Mike Evans, the only way that I could see that happening would be if you knew for sure Travis Hunter was exclusively going to play corner. And we don't know that, even though people want to hear it, not necessarily here, but, league-wide. And again, you look at wide receivers, you look at corners, it just feels because of the lack of players right now, lack of personnel defensively, that is exactly where Hunter's going to go. But I still think he's going to play both ways right here with the Jags. So, some pretty interesting stuff right there. ESPN's mock draft today came out with Julian Neal, a corner out of Arkansas, 6'2", 208. I'm going to mention some other guys who have been linked draft-wise. Mock drafts are coming out all over. I appreciate the effort again. This is now the post-combine mock drafts that are coming out as we get a little bit closer. So we're starting to get some fresh information with that. Okay, let's. What about Gabe? Is it Jacobs from Illinois? Don't know a great deal about him. Not going to lie to anyone, including you, when it comes to players who could possibly get drafted. I'm looking at the top 10. If you're talking about a defensive tackle here, I'm looking at the top 10. I don't see him listed. It doesn't mean that the Jaguars don't have him listed in the top 10. I mean, everyone's list is different, but I would be lying to you if I had a bunch of information on him. 40-42 Blue. I've never been a fan of letting proven guys walk during free agency or trading them away. Just pay them, make it work, i.e. Jalen Ramsey, Yannick Ngakoue, etc. They were still trying to replace Jet. Okay. Phenomenal question. But they were turds. Jalen Ramsey ended up being a bad guy and a bad teammate. Yannick Ngakoue couldn't get along with anyone. As a sideline reporter, man, I could tell you about dress downs that he gave to players and Elijah Hood, former defensive line coach. I'm not going to say anything out of respect for the gig unless you buy me some beers. Then I'll tell. Yannick wasn't a good guy. Jalen's one of my all-time favorites. He was a bad guy. And you need some bad guys, I think. This isn't always about walking ladies across the freaking road. I don't mind a bad guy on my football team if you can play. Let's add Leonard Fournette to that. They drafted Leonard Fournette fourth. And they couldn't even get a bag of balls. He had over 1,700 yards from the line of scrimmage. Look at what Travis Etienne has done. Look at the yards he's put up. What did they combine? 1,400, 1,500? If you add rushing and receiving. Leonard Fournette put over 1,700 yards, and he was such a bad teammate that they cut him and said, come take him. Just pay for his transportation. We'll say goodbye. Because that team right there with Dave Caldwell and Doug Marrone, they knew they were going to lose. They were lucky to be there. They figured they were going to be fired. They were hung on because Shad Khan was incredibly loyal, in this case, loyal to a fault. And I like them both. I really do personally. I like Dave an awful lot, and I like Doug an awful lot. I think Dave Caldwell's a good football man. I think he'll do well at Florida. He made some mistakes here, but everyone makes mistakes. Doug Marrone, a good guy, too. But I understand the way you're thinking about it. Okay. Let me continue this after the break because I want to get caught up here. But I have another point that I have made previously. I'm going to make it again because I think it fits what you are asking, the 40-42. So we'll come back. We'll do that. We'll also grab more info from you, your questions. Again, 2 ways to join us. 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also tonight on YouTube. Go to 1010XL Into the Night.
Exclusive access, local voices, unmatched coverage. only on 1010XL.
Get live Southeast Orthopedic Specialist leaderboard updates.
Teed up by
Atlantic Infinity, Hollis Pools, and Poor Tap Room.
If your lawn took a beating this winter, listen up. Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. They've just started the first of 3 rounds of premium granular fertilizer. No cheap liquid fertilizer here. Custom blended for Northeast Florida lawns. Their certified technicians apply slow-release nutrients. Rebuild your lawn thick, strong, and green over time. Plus, they protect your home from pests and termites. Call Julington Creek Pest Control today. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Helmets and Heels calls on Jags former middle linebacker Tom McManus to elevate your afternoon.
He's the best. Guy's got it all.
Catch the pros' point of view afternoons 2 to 4 on 1010XL. Fought for you by Green Law Group. For the injured, fighting for you.
Got a dent or a scratch that needs fixing? San Jose Collision in Mandarin offers expert auto body repair and works with all insurance. Family owned and locally trusted. San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Of course, Roland Reach Plumbing has awards from Folio Weekly and the Bold City's Best. Now, Roland Reach is also confirmed as the Google Guaranteed Plumbing Service. Because when you do plumbing right, the word gets around. That's Roland Reach Plumbing.
Need or want cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Here's a little secret to why I've been married for over 25 years. Kuhn Flowers. High Flying Jacko here. Yeah, that's correct. When I need to send some love to my bride, I don't wait for an anniversary or her birthday. I just simply go to KuhnFlowers.com.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Kyler Murray out. He will be let go in Arizona. The Jets plus 300, 3-1 odds there. 350 for Miami, plus 400 Minnesota, plus 500 Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to do anything to benefit anyone outside of Aaron Rodgers. You would think at least he'd be cool enough to say free agency begins Monday, the draft is 51 days away. Hey, what are you going to do in Pittsburgh? Well, Aaron Rodgers will go out to his barn or whatever the hell it is and meditate and do everything and then come forward with a decision. You ever meditate before?
I haven't.
Neither have I. Maybe I need to start doing it. I heard it's really refreshing. I heard the first thing you should do when you get up is not go anywhere near your phone for 10 minutes. Drink at least one bottle of water before you get to the coffee and perhaps some meditation.
I mean, I don't drink coffee, but that's the bottle.
Really?
No.
How the hell do you get up? Just get up.
Just get up.
You don't need any caffeine to get you going.
My caffeine intake is 0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just I feel like it's if some people are hooked on it, I feel like if you don't start, then you never get hooked on it.
Try to lessen myself with it. I go with the Mountain Dew here diet. I just love it. I mean, this show is so freaking boring. If I didn't drink Diet Mountain Dew, I'd pass out listening to myself talk. So that's the reason why I go with it. Let's get back to this question, 40-42. Again, asking me, why do you trade away guys who have proven themselves? Let's pay them. Okay, he mentions Jalen and Unique. They both barked their way out of town. Here's the other part of it. And for those of you who are long in the tooth, you can go back 31 years. For those of you who are not, go back as far as your memory will take you. Who's the last guy the Jaguars have re-signed who has earned his pay? Now, I'll give you 2 right now that we believe are heading that way. That's Trevor Lawrence, and that's Hines Allen. But outside of that, just ask yourself, did Myles Jack live up to his second contract? Did Devon Hamilton live up to his second contract? Okay. This year played better. His snap count was down, but certainly the years prior to that was iffy. Did Tyson Campbell live up to the second contract? Just go on and on and on and on. And think about Cam Robinson, a couple of franchise tags, whatever it may be. Think of guys who have re-signed here. And then tell me, have they lived up to it? That's scary. You overpay in free agency, whether it is bringing in someone new off the street or it is re-signing your own players. And I think this organization has a terrible history. If you were to look at all re-signed free agents, in-house or all in-house contract extensions, Maurice Jones-Drew may be the exception to the rule. He may be the best all time, right? And I'm talking about drafted. I'm not talking about free agents who all of a sudden you turn around brought back. I'm talking about in-house drafted first-round guys, the opportunity to pick up a fifth-round, first-round team option only, extend contracts. Fred Taylor, okay? Absolutely. But we're going to year 4 of the organization. I mean, how many recently? Logan Cook, okay, I'll give you that. Josh Scobie, okay, I'll give you that. Brad Meester, I'll give you that. Tony Baselli got a second contract. As great as Tony Baselli was, he was injured late, and they moved him to out of Houston. Very interesting equation when you look at that Jaguars related. Yeah, let me see here. 4704 Blue, what does it say to you? The Gladstone didn't use the tags on anyone it feels it shows his competency and that he now deserves a wise guy like Jimmy Glads or Jimmy Stones or Jimmy Burke from Goodfellas. I think it's common sense. The former organization left this team strapped financially. Bad decisions by Trent Baalke has handicapped this football team this year. And, last year they spent a lot of money. What did they end up bringing in that first wave? Like 9 free agents in the first day of March? They really did a lot of things. I mean, just look at the way go back and read your 2024 roster and then read your 2025 roster. Okay? It changed around 50%. It's actually frightening. It is. 61-33. Rick, your opinion, how did the Jags get under the salary cap before free agency and the draft? Okay, this is a very interesting question. All right, right now they're $16,900,000 over the 301.2 million. What is encouraging for the Jaguars is there's a lot of personnel that you can make moves with. The first thing you look at is restructuring a deal. There's three obvious guys who stick out. Trevor Lawrence, cap number, $37 million. I'm leaving him alone this year while that new contract kicks in. Josh Hines-Allen, $23,400,000. I think he's ripe for a payday, a signing bonus, and a restructured deal. I think he's got years left with the Jags. Foye Oluokun is the third guy. He's got a cap figure of $17,108,000. I think Foye, you know what? If this team announced that they were cutting Foye Oluokun, I would be surprised. I would not be shocked. I do believe he's back for at least one more season. So do you restructure that contract, create a ton of money, but you're going to have some dead cash down the road that you're going to have to eat. If he's basically the only one, that's okay. You just don't want a bunch of them like you had a year ago. Again, you had those three players a year ago. They added up to $42 million. You look at Gabe Davis and Tyson Campbell this year, it's 33. It's $34 million for two players. That's just too much. So those are the three candidates, in my opinion, that if you restructure one of them, you're going to recoup a ton of cash. Number two, release a couple of players. Let's begin with Eric Armstead. We keep talking about how this is a very weak defensive tackle situation, both in free agency and the NFL draft. If you were to release Eric Armstead, who has a cap number of $19,385,000, and you were to designate him post June 1st, okay, you're bringing back $14.4 million, nearly $14.5 million, which basically that move alone gets you under the cap. Now, there's going to be dead money. No doubt about it. This year, it would be 4.9. I don't know what the dead money would be for 2027. I just don't. But that's a real possibility. The other one for me would be Patrick Mekari. Same situation. Got a cap figure of $14,877,000. It's tough to sign a guy to a 3 or 4 year deal and cut him after 1 year. It really is. And there's a lot that's involved with this. Ego. It was your biggest splash, bringing him in. This guy had all the range in the world. He played all 5 offensive line positions. The lowest snap count in his career was right guard. They put him at right guard. He was very average to below average. And I think with Wyatt Milam and who knows, maybe Walker Little, maybe he's your right guard. I think they have other options. Plus, I think they'll draft. You could say goodbye to Patrick Mekari. Okay. Now, this is not as, plentiful. If you were to cut Patrick Mekari, wow, before June 1st, you're only bringing back $210,000, okay? And your dead money is $14,666,000. Post, it doesn't change all that much. You're only bringing back $3.5 million, but you got to eat $11.3 million. And again, this team had no problem eating $13 million plus a year ago for Sheriff, Ingram, and Kirk. Those three were all $13 million plus. High $13 millions. That ended up being around $42 million. So that could happen. But I think that becomes, all right, this is going to cost us as far as the dead money. We just don't think he's part of the plan. We think we're better with someone else. That could happen. Another part of this, trade Walker Little. What are you going to get for Walker Little? He's got a $15 million cap figure. This is a bad signing by Trent Baalke. Little may be a better right guard. Now, I'd be surprised if they cut Patrick McCarry and traded Walker Little. I think one of the two can happen. You're not going to get anything for Little. You're going to get a 6th, 7th round pick. Okay? And again, you're going to have dead money to deal with down the road. The final part of this, where you can really create an awful lot of money, is re-sign players who are coming up. Is it time for Trayvon Walker, or do you let him play year 4? You picked up his 5th-year option, or they will. He could play 2 more years, not do anything. Do you re-sign Parker Washington? Do you re-sign Brenton Strange? Do you re-sign Anton Harrison? Do you re-sign Antonio Johnson? Right? There's 4 right there that stick out, that this football team has to decide what they are going to do. Again, that means you're going to pay them big money. But immediately when you do that, you pay a large signing bonus, so it's going to be next to nothing against the cap this year. It'll begin to really grow in 2027. So this team has the opportunity to restructure, in my opinion, 3 guys: Lawrence, Hines Allen, and Aloakon. Again, I wouldn't mess with Lawrence this year. They have the ability, in my opinion, to cut 2 major players in Eric Armstead and in Patrick McCarry. They have an opportunity to trade Walker Little, and they have an opportunity to get deals done with 4 players who are all coming up: Trayvon Walker, Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, and Antonio Johnson. Okay? And guys who are off the shelf here, Buster Brown, same deal. You can bring back, he's going to be the one that's going to cost a little bit. He should be their premier free agent who's now free, who was on the team a year ago. It should be Buster. And again, you could sign him, we'll see what the terms are, but give him a big bonus. And when you do that this year, cap-wise, it's not going to cost you a lot because it's a bonus. And as we head to this break, remember, when you restructure contracts, just look at Mahomes' deal last week or 2 weeks ago. They restructured it like $44 million, and they created a ton of salary cap space. They paid him the bonus. I think they freed up around $37 million. But you take that $44 million, and over the final 4 years of his contract, you add $11 million a year for 4 years. So you take that $44 million, and let's say you put it on the books in 2028, 2029, 2030, 2031. Now, that's not a problem for Kansas City because even though we tore the ACL, I think all of us believe that Patrick Mahomes is going to play football, for another 8-10 years, right? I mean, isn't that the thought? But you're adding $11 million a year to the end of his contract, and that's what you would have to do if you were to restructure Trevor, Hines Allen, Aloakon, or anyone else for far less money. So the good news is Jacksonville has a lot of options, okay? They can be creative and find ways to get under the cap and free up money and also go out and sign a player or 2. They absolutely can. But it's going to be slightly confusing, and I also think it's going to be pretty cool to sit back and observe. All right, much more to do with you tonight till 8.
Wonder what Jeff Prosser would be doing if he wasn't on 1010XL?
I am an FBI agent. I know, man. Isn't it wild?
Jeff Prosser.
In another life, you'd have made an excellent criminal. I won't rest until you all get 20 years in prison.
Mornings on 1010XL.
The Players Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number one Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Bueller,
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal.
Stand back, Jason. I'm gonna
Sneeze? Yeah, I saw that coming.
It's all this spring pollen, Jason. It's outside and it's inside my house, and I just can't stop. I can't stop.
Sneezing? Okay, let me help you with that.
How can you help?
At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can improve your indoor air quality with air purifiers, UV lights, and filtration systems. Every new system we install includes high-efficiency 4-inch filters that work better and last longer, even if you forget to change them.
Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing.
Life can get pretty dusty sometimes. If you spend all day, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Well, when you think golden moment or moments, I think of Devin Lloyd and I think of Travis Etienne, a couple of guys today who were not tagged. They are now free agents. Devin Lloyd, the pick 6, was simply remarkable. What a year. 5 picks, the brand new defense under Anthony Campanile. And, of course, Travis Etienne, unfortunately, lost his rookie year to an injury. But, you know, a dual threat. The screen game, perhaps not as effective, and they didn't use it as much as I figured they would during year 1 with Liam Cohen. But you look at Etienne, who in his 4 healthy years over 1,000 yards rushing. 2024 was not a healthy year. And also did put up some really good numbers as far as receiving. Both will test free agent waters. As far as I'm concerned, the one that they really covet, who is left, is Buster Brown. I think he is the number one free agent signing of a Jaguar who played a year ago. I'd also make a run at Danny Gardeck. I think he's very affordable. There's a few other guys here. Quentin Morris, who just came in and won the job, is the basically the second tight end late. Austin Johnson ate up, in my opinion, some snaps at the end of the year. So I'm thinking that's it. I think Dewey's gone. I think Greg Newsom's gone. Dwan Smoot's gone. Emmanuel Ogba is gone. That's basically it. If you look at the free agents to be. All right, the Gators getting ready to tip off against Arkansas tonight. That'll be over on the AM. Florida ranked 5th in America. Tomorrow's a big day in the A-Sun. How about Jacksonville? They'll get things started against Bellarmine. That'll be at noon at UNF at the arena. Then it's North Alabama, Florida Gulf Coast at 2:30. Stetson and Eastern Carolina at 5. James Madison. Actually, that is those are the three early games, 12, 2:30, and 5 at the UNF arena. Then it will be UNF playing tomorrow night at 7:30 against West Georgia. So for March, college basketball fans, you just can't get enough. You have 4 games in town tomorrow. Okay, all beginning at high noon. And then again, that'll include JU, the finale tomorrow night at 7:30, UNF against West Georgia. So some pretty good stuff. A lot of tournaments getting underway now, and folks are beginning to dive into it. And that'll only grow day after day after day. If you look at what's happening, for the most part, the big eaters, the heavies are wrapping things up this weekend, and then we'll get into conference play coming up next week. And I guess the Florida game actually does begin tonight at 8. I said 7:44, so check that. It will start tonight at 8. Boy, what a night for ranked teams. I mean, it's just a bevy of contests tonight, all across the board, including in the SEC, with 23rd ranked Tennessee at South Carolina, number 16 Bama at Georgia. How about Texas Tech? Big win. They lost their big man, and they got it done against Iowa State over the weekend. Virginia and Wake Forest having at it. Clemson at North Carolina. Georgetown at St. John's. See, last week, Rick Pitino had his largest loss ever at St. John's. Late tonight, Oregon, Illinois, Kansas, Arizona State, and Nebraska. Boy, when in Nebraska? Remember forever Nebraska was like, one of the blue bloods in college football who had never been to an NCAA college basketball tournament. They're 9th in America right now, 14-4 in the Big Ten. So you have that to take a look at. Also tomorrow begins the World Baseball Classic. That'll start tomorrow. So looking forward to watching that. I tell you what's receiving just a ton of criticism. Do you see this report with the NIL in Mississippi? They're not going to tax any student athlete NIL related, okay? And, on the surface, that seems like a pretty cool situation until you dive deep into the state of Mississippi. And I got in a lot of hot water over a year ago at Mississippi when I ended up being right, when saying Lane Kiffin would never be able to win a national title at Mississippi. But unfortunately, Mississippi, when you look at, education or the lack thereof, they're ranked last in the United States of America. So you got guys and gals working for minimum wage who are getting taxed. And now you're going to pay football players 6 figures, maybe 7 figures in some circumstances, and they're not getting taxed. A lot of people are going absolutely bananas over this.
So they get to keep all those millions untaxed dollars.
Yes.
You kidding me, man? What a day to be! What a time to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
Get to play football at a university, get paid millions, and not get taxed.
It's going to rub a lot of people in Mississippi the wrong way. And again, this is why you need a commissioner. You should not have it where Tennessee can do it this way, Louisiana can do it this way, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida can do it this way, and Mississippi can do it this way. It should be the same laws, same rules within the Southeastern Conference. It should be the same rules with every conference. And in this case, I'm talking about the heavies, the Big Ten. And let's face it, it's really only 2. It is. It's really only the SEC and the Big Ten. You know, we can have fun with the ACC and the Big 12, but come on. Now, that's not the deal in college basketball. I'm talking about college football. The Big 12 is incredible this year in college hoops. But they should have, someone needs to govern this. That's why it's getting out of control. I mean, just keep it the same. You know, this is giving Mississippi, and it's not as though I know the rules, NIL rules, in every state. I don't. But I've read a lot about what's gone on here with Mississippi. And, you know, you would think that that would be very attractive to a transfer or an incoming freshman to know that, I mean, we talk about it all the time here in our state, you know, come to Jacksonville where you're not going to get, you know, hit with the state tax. And that's for 8 games a year, right? And next year it'll be for 6 games. Or this year, 6 games. But that, to me, that just smells in college football. I mean, they've got to unify that as far as I am concerned. All right, we got much more to do. It's good to have you with us. John Osher tomorrow night. Looking forward to talking to Osh. The very latest on the Jaguars and everything else around the NFL. That'll be at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. Hacker Nation is coming up. He'll join you tonight at 8 o'clock.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Football may be over, but with Hard Rock Bet, there's always something to bet on every night. Hoop, hockey, and so much more. This is Joe C. Don't forget, new signups can double their winnings on their first 10 bets with a max of $50 bets. That's right, your winnings are doubled on your first 10 bets. If you would have won $100, your bet would make $200. Download the Hard Rock Bet app today. It's all waiting for you. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Tusk, the classic tribute to Fleetwood Mac. Friday, March 6th at Florida Theater. Playing the hits and deep cuts of rock and roll Hall of Famers Fleetwood Mac. An unforgettable show with the iconic music you love. On sale now at floridatheater.com. Don't miss Tusk. Recreating the Fleetwood Mac experience like no other.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
PGA Tour star Ricky Fowler.
If you want to be the best, you have to practice with the best. That's why I had Southwest Greens install and maintain my putting green, and my synthetic lawn, and my chipping area, and my practice bunker area, and my bocce ball court, and our pole vaulting area.
Southwest Greens is the world's premier manufacturer and installer of putting greens, synthetic grass, chipping areas, practice bunkers, and just about anything else you want to do in your yard.
It's Southwest Greens.
Log on to southwestgreensofjacksonville.com to see what they can do to your backyard.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
Hey Jacksonville, Don here, the big cheese at Taco Lou. Well, everyone knows my wife Debbie is the real cheese at the Lou. We just do what we're told. We aren't a sports bar at all, but we have the best selection of the finest tequilas that Mexico has to offer, and that makes any basketball game more fun to watch. So come into Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach, where we love sports and we love tacos with our tequila. If you're looking for a crew to help with your fiestas at home or work, Taco Lou caters, bringing the tacos to you. Taco Lou in Jacks Beach, where tacos and sports go hand in hand.
Royal Pest Services, a local company you can trust. Royal Pest is a certified installer of tap insulation, which stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Reduce that electric bill by adding pest protection. It's that easy. Online at royalpestservices.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and if you check out their showroom in the month of March, you're going to see some really cool rides.
We do. We've got this all-new Euro motorcycle going to be on display one day. We're having some demos the next day. Here with Sullivan, she's got some more detail.
March 11th, come down to Cycles of Jacksonville. We'll have the static day where you can see all of the machines. And then March 12th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., we have demo rides. Come test drive your new Euro.
These things are cool. I've never seen it yet. All new Euro motorcycles. You're not going to want to miss it.
Check out Cycles of Jacksonville Facebook and Instagram.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
All right, the 5884 goes on to say that I am wrong. Mississippi education per kids count, they are now in the 2025 ranking 16. They have changed significantly. They have much higher grade level reading than Chicago and other large cities. Okay, a lot of stuff I read, and a lot of this was on Twitter. People going nuts was their comments. If, in fact, that is the case, good. They are improving. So there you go. Very latest there. Hacker Nation. How you doing, young man?
I'm good. Busy time. Obviously, Gator basketball about to tip off. We got franchise tags that have been handed out and ones that have not, which speaks volumes here with Devin Lloyd and Travis Etienne. So there's certainly a ton to get into.
Yeah, no doubt. I guess you're not surprised. I mean, you and I have been talking about this for quite some time. Was there any hesitancy at all that maybe they get something done with ETN today, or were you convinced that he was going to become a free agent?
No, I was pretty convinced they were going to become free agents. Devin Lloyd, you knew they weren't going to franchise him because that would have cost $27 million. But with them not franchising Devin Lloyd, he's played his final game as a Jacksonville Jaguar. It's a mere formality at this point. So now I think you start kind of reminiscing about Devin Lloyd's career and how he's going to be remembered as a Jaguar, because I would imagine by Monday, probably in the first couple of hours, he's going to agree to terms for a pretty lucrative deal somewhere else.
Yeah, someone's going to make a big-time run at him. It's not a tremendous free agency class, really, at any particular position. So, I think a team that needs a very good off-the-ball linebacker. I'm still a little bit concerned about his future, though, depending on where he goes. I think he's proven with 3 different defensive coordinators and 3 different systems just how good he was here compared to the earlier regimes.
And I know we're supposed to be objective in our analysis, but I've always been a Devin Lloyd fan. He's one of the guys that would talk to you no matter what after practice, in the locker room. Even when he became a star this year, you could still go up to him in the locker room and he would have time for you.
I agree.
And I thought too, when I talked to him at training camp, how he handled not getting the 5th-year option picked up. So professional, so much class about it. Wherever Devin Lloyd goes, hopefully it's not Tennessee, Houston, or Indy, but wherever he goes, I will still find myself rooting for Devin Lloyd. I'm just a fan of the person.
Yeah, he is a good young man. There's no doubt about it. The way you described it was spot on. That's not the case for everyone.
No.
There are guys, especially when you lose and they'll go into the trainer's room or whatever, and they'll just avoid us, but he always answered the call. All right, what do you got coming up?
Yeah, obviously we'll keep track of the Gators. They're tipping off at 8 o'clock. No Thomas Houck tonight for Florida.
Yeah,
they are a 22.5-point favorite over Mississippi State, so we'll keep track of that. Ian Cummings of Pro Football Network will stop by to talk about the draft and preview free agency, and we'll go out to Houston. Dan Matthews, Sports Radio 790 in Houston, about the Texans. Very busy day yesterday with those trades and what could be in the works potentially for a C.J. Stroud contract extension in the near future.
All right, good old Dan Matthews. Known him for quite some time, much like yourself. Have a lot of fun tonight.
Thanks, Rick.
That's going to do it for us. We are back on Wednesday at 6 o'clock right here on your home of the Jaguars. Well, let me remind you of one quick thing. We are always on, a lot of times we're on 1010. But we are always on 92.5 FM, okay? And you can get us on YouTube. You can get us on Twitter. You can also get us on the app and take that anywhere that you go. It's 92.5 FM, the app. And no matter where you are, you can always get us crystal clear. That'll do it. Thank you to Aaron Williams. Appreciate Ryan O'Halloran. Again, my name is Rick Ballou. We'll talk again Wednesday at 6 o'clock